I had the honor of checking out Ubisoft's upcoming title, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. That's right, I went hands-on for 3 hours, which ultimately felt like just the beginning. I was getting so enwrapped with what was going on that quickly my time with the game came to an end, and I was just looking for more. Like, that's the biggest takeaway for me, is that it wasn't quite where I wanted it to end off. I was ready to keep going, and I wasn't ready to put it down. Something I don't see often when a lot of games come out. But this one definitely had its hooks into me, and I was interested right from the get-go when it all started. We play as Sargon. He's not your usual hero whatsoever. In fact, he's part of the Immortals. The Immortals are a group that are looked upon for help when things go from bad to worse. And in this case, not a prince. Instead, we're tasked with saving the prince. That's right, things get out of control, and we're tasked to go on this adventure through Mount Kaf, a time lost within itself. And there's a lot to understand when it gets into Mount Kaf, what is going on. It almost feels like this other dimension. Instead of having this rewind feature that we're so used to with Prince of Persia, we're getting a different take. I think this is a much welcomed, fresh feel for Prince of Persia, and I loved it. The Metroidvania side-scrolling style that it is presented with has so much charm and personality that it was absolutely a welcomed addition and something fresh I think that all fans have been looking for.
So much time has passed.
What? You only got here last night?
One single night that has lasted 30 years.
30 years?
The game definitely has some old school mechanics. This Metroidvania is something we've been playing with for a very long time, but is one of those things where when you come across what they have basically deemed as a whack tree, not exactly something I like to call it. Whatever. It is what it is within the game, but man, I was even talking to the person I was working with when I was playing the game. Whack tree? Really? That's what they decided to choose this thing as a title? Is a whack tree. So it is essentially a save point. Whack. Oh, I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. That was my only takeaway from the game, is that this is where we're going to be here a lot. You go to your whack tree for multiple things. One, refill your health. When you do so, what happens? All the enemies you encountered and defeated beforehand, well, guess what? They're back. That's right. Then once you're there, you can upgrade certain skills. Or if you die right before getting to the boss, you start back at the whack tree and have to make your way through there again. How do you do that is really up to you. There's a lot of different paths you can take on this Metroidvania side-scrolling game. I think that was cool. It's not a linear path. We are going from one spot back to another. There's a lot of lore within the world. There's a lot of side quests that I was getting into as well. So the main story itself, trying to save the prince and what happens, there's a lot of twists and turns within my short 3 hours of playing. It was incredible. Has me very hyped for the full release in January, and I just want to see where everything else kind of unravels. Art style, definitely something that hooked me. Here, because I was streaming off their servers, things were a little bit different, and I'm not sure how it will present when it fully releases. When we do get into the full release, it's gonna be in 4K, so my hopes are a little higher, as this was only getting into me with 1080. So 1080, not a bad look, but again, something a little bit more cartoony, simplified the look that we're used to when it comes to Prince of Persia. So the world is set up. The environments look great. The creatures are cool. Sargon is actually a pretty cool character himself. So there's one thing it all comes down to, and that's the combat. This is firing on all cylinders. I thought it was fast. The abilities are there to keep you going. It was fluid. Properly timed, the parry mechanic is on point. Something I'm not normally very good at, but when I did it, it was awesome. And it sets up this cool kill animation, or if there's a boss fight, you're taking down a pretty good chunk of their health. It was great. The combat was right where it needed to be. I think that was the highlight too. It's a standout. Didn't have good combat, and this game wouldn't be any good, but for me, it was right there where it needed to be. In wrapping up my short 3 hours with the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, it had me just really looking to get into more. I think that's the highlight for me. Art style was cool, the lore is there, side quest is there, back and forth between the Metroidvania style gameplay, the bosses were very unique, and you're really rewarded for exploration. Unlocking new chests, getting new gear, looking for this, that, and the other. This has me excited to go around and explore the game. We've been told you can wrap it up in about 20 to 25 hours, but if you're looking to do a bunch of the other stuff with the side quests and everything else, I'm pretty sure you can get closer to 35. At least that's where I'm going to be pushing, I think. At the end of the day, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, definitely a standout coming into 2024, and one everybody should keep their eye on.
Your efforts are